Why don't we first talk about the state today of of a media situation we've all matured in, and that's LGBT media.
Yeah. Well, let's do a little geeky history first.
You're allowed. Okay.
Only 60 seconds. And no, I was lucky because I was involved with the LGBT internet back in the 90s. And back then it was just very different.
What were the sites you
There's
and
gaywired.com,
Yep.
and we had shewired and gaysports.com. We had this whole network, but the Gay Web Monkey is the...
Yep, I remember that.
So that was fun. And we sold that to Hear Media and kind of moved along into what we're doing today. But no, back then, it was just very different. You would create a website, and the website was content and personals, and we had retailing and so forth. But you would be able to keep people captive in those sites for sometimes an hour. And so they'd come in, because there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't MySpace. Remember MySpace?
Yep, I do.
There weren't these things that were distracting them, and they would spend their time. And if your business was selling banner advertising and so forth, you did very well. The geeky part is that you had, on average, about 10 page views per user. It's the page views. Google Analytics, they give us all this number. How many web pages does somebody go to when they're on your website? Back then, you can easily get 10 minimum, and usually a lot more. Today, it's 1 point something. That's the key.
1 point.
1 point something.
One and a fraction of a page.
And that's the key. Like that's the geeky fundamental part, is that you go from all these page views once upon a time down to this, and that's because at the time they would go to your front page, they would discover what you had, and plus there was personals and all the things before social media. And if you just fast forward to where we're at today with this 1 point something, that's where you have Facebook and so forth. And now people are saying, I don't know what I'm looking for in terms of content, but I'm going to find out what my friends are interested in. And so they see a really good headline, they click, they go, but they don't stay. And a lot of media companies, even just any company with a website, they have not always been aware of this trend. They went from a lot of page views to very little. Google was somewhere in between here, where Google was kind of coming in and saying, don't worry, you don't have to navigate their website, we'll just help you through search. And especially with Google News. Google News was kind of, for a little while, the dominant way that this was, that people would be able to find out what's kind of going on in the world. But today in social media, so it's that 1 point something, and that's key, because what it's done is it's shifted the power from, wow, I really want my website to be perfect, and that front page is got to be designed just right to drive traffic, into, I got to make sure my headline is really, really good. And so there's a whole business, and a lot of things have developed from that. But so businesses are figured out, that's why Google and Facebook are the top places that all this ad revenue is going to.